Some of us are still at the intersection of searching and thinking. Others have discovered their passion quite early in life. And some, still, will need to be propelled by discomforts in order to get to that place. I'm talking about your career. Life has no one route to get there, but you can help to predict your future with a bit of innovation, a touch of imagination, and a dash of dedication. We're about to meet some innovative garment creators and explore the viability of adding a dash of dedication to nuclear science. Of course, if that's where your interest lies. National Career Week continues with us here on Jamaica Magazine. I'm Theodore Henry. Welcome.
Jamaica, we are in the throes of a pandemic. COVID-19 cases are on the rise. COVID-19 related deaths are climbing. COVID-19 bed capacity at our hospitals has been maxed out. Yet still, some of us continue to flout the COVID-19 containment measures. Some of us still refuse to wear masks in public places. We still gather in groups of more than 10. We still break the curfew hours. And we still attend illegal parties. Wise up! Take responsibility for your health. Safeguard the health of your loved ones. Obey the COVID-19 protocols.
Good day, I'm Adrian Atkinson and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, February 9, 2022. The Agriculture Ministry's Research and Development Division is developing a strategy to address the price increase for grains, which is among the factors affecting higher chicken prices. The initiative is in response to calls from farmers for a reduction in the cost for chicken feeds, in which cereal grains such as wheat, barley and sorghum are key ingredients. Agriculture Minister Pernell Charles Jr. says plans include using local materials to develop a new formula for producing low-cost feeds for the livestock sector.
Jamaica, in moving towards self-sufficiency, will be moving towards a greater focus on developing our innovative techniques to use our material to produce for our people.
The Agriculture Ministry is also in dialogue with local poultry processing companies to discuss means of boosting their production to meet the local demand for baby chickens. Minister Pernell Charles Jr. says that while the production of poultry is down by 7% when compared to pre-COVID levels, it has been trending up over the past 2 months. He says one possible avenue for improved self-sufficiency is by bringing in new entrants and competition into the poultry market to strengthen the nation's ability to meet demands.
And even as we work on increasing our local capacity, PS, for production of baby chicks, we wish to advise investors that countries like Brazil and Canada are potential places from which you could consider importing hatching eggs, as well as further sourcing from the USA to ensure that we have a consistent supply of baby chicks to meet the increasing demand.
Mr. Charles Jr. was addressing a press conference at his ministry yesterday to update on sector developments. Still on agriculture, Jamaica's domestic crop production for the last quarter of 2021 exceeded 700,000 tons, which represents the highest ever output for the subsector. The Agriculture Minister says based on preliminary estimates, crop production for the October to December 2021 quarter shows an 18.2% increase when compared to the same period in 2020. He says the most significant contributors to the increase in production were condiments, up by 50.2%, fruits, which increased by 36.5%, and vegetables by 24.1%.
This is a milestone that reflects the determination of our farmers towards building our nation. And I believe that this increased production and productivity was influenced by the many interventions that were implemented under the ministry's recovery program, as well as the $100 million support to farmers following the impact of tropical storms Grace and Ida in August, which have now begun to take effect.
Minister Charles Jr. says barring any unfavorable weather conditions, the ministry is expecting that the strong growth experienced in the end of 2021 will continue into the first quarter of this year, which ends March 31. In other news, government is making good on its commitment to build green spaces in urban areas. On Friday, Prime Minister Andrew Holness opened the Andrews Muse Health and Recreational Centre in West Central St. Andrew. Located beside the Jamaica Goodwill Infant School along Olympic Way, the park features a trail for walking or jogging, a playground and bathroom facilities.
It will be a gathering area. And so when you look at it, you will see it's a very minimalist design, but it is still relaxing and still fit for the purpose of recreation. It is not just designed for young people, it is also designed for older persons as well.
The Prime Minister says a second park is planned for another section of the community. And finally, the 2022-2023 parliamentary year begins tomorrow with the traditional ceremonial opening of Parliament. The ceremony at Gordon House will, for a second year, take place in strict adherence to the Ministry of Health's COVID-19 guidelines. Among the measures to ensure safety is a reduced number of parliamentarians and other dignitaries attending the ceremony. Leader of the House, Minister Edmund Bartlett, says members have responded well to the necessary measures for social distancing in the chamber. The traditional march to Gordon House will also adhere to health protocols. Parliamentarians will approach Gordon House in single file and undertake the necessary sanitization procedures at the entrance of the building before entering the chamber. Members of the public will be able to follow the proceedings, which will be broadcast live on local television and the internet. The ceremonial opening of Parliament will be followed by a meeting of the House of Representatives in the afternoon, when the new budget will be tabled. And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thank you so much for watching.
Read a book, magazine, newspaper. Read a book right now or later. Read a book for the higher education. Read a book, oh what a sensation. Read a book, magazine, newspaper. Read a book right now or later. Read a book for the higher education. Read a book, oh what a sensation. Read a book.
Science remains a widely pursued field with an abundance of career options. In our first feature, we highlight nuclear science as a viable path.
Science is an essential cornerstone in the creation of a modern society.
As the Ministry of Science, Energy and Technology pursues its mission to increase the popularization of science in schools, we're highlighting one of the many careers that one can undertake in this field. Nuclear science involves applying nuclear techniques to investigate and study different fields. Here in Jamaica, nuclear techniques have been applied to conduct studies in areas such as agriculture, health, and climate change. Unfortunately, the field of nuclear science is largely male-dominated, but there are females out there who have been doing great work and have solidified their space.
I work in the nuclear analytical lab. I started out in engineering and transitioned into this field, so it wasn't exactly on my radar. I wasn't told about it in high school, and it wasn't something I knew really existed per se, which is what we're trying to change here, to get people aware that there is this field that exists and is actually here. So I had the privilege of seeing an opening and I applied. I love projects. I love investigating. For me specifically, I love marine and atmospheric studies, which is how I use nuclear science to investigate the marine environment and urban air quality. It's been fun. No 2 days are the same, which works for me. And it definitely requires passion and interest because the field is constantly changing. There's always something new to learn, while there are things that are established. Like in science in general, science also continues to present new information, and that new information can change how you do certain things or maybe how you look at future projects. So it requires that you constantly read. It requires that you're constantly open to really, understanding why is it that you're doing what you're doing and how it actually can help solve the bigger picture, not just doing it for the sake of doing it. Science in general is a male-dominated field. It's for sure that is exactly how it is. It's why the UN has the International Day for Women and Girls in Science, to encourage the changing of that situation. Personally, I've never really been daunted by the fact that it's male dominated, because it's something that I'm interested in, so I pursued it irrespective of that position. And so I'd encourage girls not to look at the fact that it's mostly men. Look at it as, okay, since it's mostly men, I will find my place. You know, you can find, for everybody in this field, you can find your place, and to learn from them. The men that I work with here are incredible. They teach you, they are open to, you know, helping you to learn and to understand. And for me, who was transitioning from another career into nuclear science, something that I didn't study in my undergrad, they were pivotal in helping me to understand how to do things. I didn't have a female in this lab to work with. So males can be allies as well. So it doesn't have to be a male versus female thing. I think it's just to stay open, don't get discouraged. I wasn't a huge fan of chemistry in high school, and yet a lot of my job has to do with chemistry. But I think things change, you know. Sometimes it's a teacher that you're exposed to, sometimes it's just a stage in your life. You might prefer a particular subject, but don't feel daunted by the task at all. Just still pursue what you are interested in.
The Forestry Department is leading the implementation of the National Tree Planting Initiative, which seeks to plant 3 million trees in 3 years, one for each Jamaican plus a little extra for good measure. So I'm inviting each Jamaican to visit our nurseries across the island and collect your tree seedling and make your mark towards this great goal for Jamaica.
A second choice at pursuing your career options can be accessed through government's HOPE program. We'll now see how this has inspired hope and renewed dreams for some effervescent minds in Jamaica.
I was yearning for success so much that it brought me to the wrong route. I was actually incarcerated because of my actions, and that is where I got into sewing, because I had to do something to make up for the time and to keep myself active. So this program, I heard about it as soon as I was released in May 13. So it was my ray of hope. This is my change. This is my way forward. So I come with all zeal and tenacity to go forward.
Cressy Ray is just one of the thousands of Jamaican young people whose lives are being transformed because of their engagement in the Prime Minister's Housing Opportunity, Production and Employment Hope program.
The HOPE program is about engaging with the youth of Jamaica in a meaningful way. To give them, so it is mainly a training and apprenticeship program, if I can summarize that in a nutshell. It involves engaging young persons through, firstly, values and attitudes, or what I call core skills training. Then it gets into a skills training, a very basic skills training, and then get them to serve as an apprentice for up to 1 year, honing the skills that they would have learned.
And that is exactly the course taken by the Hope Garment Construction Corps at the Heart Trust NTA Garmix Academy.
The first phase was 2 weeks of what is called core skills training. Basically life skills training, different areas where they were taught life coping skills, punctuality, how to dress for work, how to manage their emotions, things like that.
I deserve the best things that life has to offer.
they were taken into the machine operating training, where the 100 were placed in 4 groups of 25 with 4 instructors learning to sew. The final phase will be going into production, where they will actually start making the shirts for the other persons. And you will see from the display we have over here that they're actually making shirts now.
Yes, you heard right. These students are actually making shirts for the over 15,000 participants of the Hope program.
When we started the program, the intent was to have everybody be in receipt of a shirt, Oxford type shirt, that would be to help to promote the good working ethics, including their own dress and deportment. To purchase shirts outright and to have them branded, the cost was really far too prohibitive in order to kit out the vast numbers that we're hoping to reach on the program. Then there was a suggestion to speak to Hart Garments Academy, and I found out that they had this massive facility with over 100 machines, which were generally being underutilized at the time.
Now these young garment makers are learning much more than stitching shirts for fellow Hope participants.
I'm enjoying it right now because I can make my own shirt, skirt, and now I'm dropping to make my own dress.
It is very enlightening, astounding. I didn't know it was so meticulous to make even a simple dress. You know, we look at it as just 2 pieces of fabric, but when you get down to the nitty and gritty, it has so many different calculations, but it's something I love.
Because the clothes wasn't working out for me, I tried to do jewelry making. It's going great so far because I can make my own jewelry, I can produce it, I can have my own store and selling them.
The length is from the waist to the ground.
And none of this would be possible without the team of hard-working instructors on hand.
At first, I didn't know anything about sewing. Then, basically, getting the steps from our instructors, and they're teaching us step by step, so you get everything and understand. And at this stage where I'm at, I'm proud of myself, because if I didn't came here, I wouldn't know to do nothing at all.
The teachers, trust me, they work hard. It's not easy dealing with us as young adults, so they work hard. And what I love about them, it's not just about passing for them. It is about sitting down with the person, making sure they understand. So I give the teachers 2 thumbs up.
They help me a lot because I give them most of them problem. And there is not an instructor here who don't know me. Because I walk around and I ask questions, how to do my shirt, and they all helped me. It don't make no sense to stay home and sit down and I look for somebody to give something when you can come out, learn a skill, and can do something for yourself.
It doesn't matter what background you're from or where you're from. Just come with an open mind and willing to learn. And once you're willing, you'll go a long way because there's hope for you.
For more information on the Garment Construction Corps or the Hope program, call or visit a National Youth Service or Heart Trust NTA office. Toll free 1-888-432-7868 or email info@heart-nta.org.
Jamaica's COVID-19 vaccination plan is still in effect.
Persons with appointments to receive a vaccine will be allowed to do so during curfew hours. Persons will be required to present evidence of the appointment. And how it will work is you will show the text message that you would have received or your email to the police.
If you wish to make an appointment, please do so online by visiting moh.gov.jm or by calling 888-663-5683. Vaccination sites will open until 4 p.m. daily. Vaccination still a keep. Go get your jab today.
Inclusivity is at the heart of what we do. A while back, we met with retired Chief Education Officer for the Special Education Unit in the Ministry of Education, Dr. Hickswell Douglas. Now, he's made significant contributions to Jamaica in his career, and he did it all while being visually impaired. Here's his story.
I think I realized that I had a vision impairment maybe in my early childhood schooling when I attended basic school in Stony Hill and realized that I was quite different from all the other youngsters. It has its own range of effects. There are psychological and social effects. You start wondering if you are different and how different you are. And then you realize too that your pattern of interaction with students and with adults was different. People were always a little tiptoeing around, not wanting to say certain things. And during early childhood primary education, I experienced a lot of failure as a consequence of the vision impairment. And that, I am sure, shattered my self-esteem in those early days. I think as I got older, then there were other issues about the whole business of denial and going through anger periods, and till I get to the point where I finally accepted the idea, which was way up until I was probably about 2021. I currently am retired from Ministry of Education as an education officer. But since retirement, I have been doing a lot of workshops and seminars involved in a number of issues, looking at change management concerns, special education concerns, and perhaps a part of the passion, looking at boys' education. I discovered that the boys were considered to be the troublesome ones. And a lot of people were concerned about the behavior because it was impacting their learning. I use a lot of unconventional ways to try and get the boys to learn, getting them involved in practical, active kind of learning situations, and found that it worked a great deal. But I also found out that if you respect them and you treat them well, no matter how offensive they may be, you can reach them, you can teach them, and you may even preach to them. So currently I've now expanded that to even start working with some boys, looking at boys on a mission. A colleague told me about that, so if they're on a mission, then we want them to show interest, to do their best, to pass their tests, and in the end, to big up them chests.
Dots 1 and 2, right? So you press that.
One of the things that I have learned as a person with a vision impairment, and the lessons I would want to share with other persons who have vision impairment, especially children, is that perhaps the most important thing is self-determination. Having the ability and the capacity and the drive to go and to do the things that you want to do in spite of negative thoughts, in spite of failure, in spite of all of those things. I also would want to say to students with vision impairment that you have to be good at advocating for yourself. So self-advocacy skills is very, very important. Know what you want. ask for it. Also, make sure that in asking for it, we do so with a lot of respect and a lot of understanding of others. Nothing is impossible to those who believe in God. And I have found that that philosophy has worked for me all the way. I exercise faith in God, and I would also want to commend that to persons with vision impairment, that they need to have a source that they're going to anchor themselves to. And in believing that nothing is impossible, I have been able to culture a very positive attitude to life. And that positive attitude has worked for me, and I am confident it will work for others.
Career Week is a collaborative engagement involving the Ministry of Education, Heart NSTA Trust, and Junior Achievement Jamaica. This year, National Career Week is being observed under the theme, Career Success, Building Critical Skills to Navigate the Future. As the series of events continue, there will be a Junior Achievement National Entrepreneurship Forum tomorrow, Thursday, February 10, 2022, from 9 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. This will give students in the JACE or the JA BizTown programs the opportunity to pitch their business ideas. The event will include a virtual tour of JA BizTown and feature Heart NSTA Trust Try a Skill, showcasing various skill-based careers. And on Friday, February 11, 2022, there will be a virtual event dubbed Manager for a Day from 10 a.m. to 12:15 p.m. Here, students will get an opportunity to learn from real-life industry leaders on new and emerging career trends. They'll be able to get study options and qualifications, as well as the soft skills necessary to function successfully in the workplace. Desire. That's the one secret of every man's career. That's a quote from Johnny Carson. We encourage you to find your desires and feed them if it gets you towards that career goal. Also, continue looking out for these events from the Education Ministry and help us nurture dreams and build a Jamaica we can all call the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. You've just seen and heard about 30 minutes of tips and information to help in fueling your career choice or journey. But just in case you missed any of it, a refresher of today's journey can be had through our YouTube channel. There you'll also get the chance to see other shows, newscasts, and features, so watch away. Also, please visit our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages for more information. From all of us here at the JIS, I'm Theodore Henry. See you soon.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.